Wounded but Not Broken, with host Patrick Scroggins. As a U.S. Army attack helicopter pilot deployed in Iraq, Patrick faced a devastating crash, which resulted in him dying, losing a leg, and a slew of broken bones. Patrick's story of rehabilitation has helped others to overcome their own obstacles. Each week, Patrick recounts stories of inspiration and interviews guests who have overcome remarkable obstacles. This is Wounded but Not Broken, with your host, Patrick Scroggins.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wounded but Not Broken on this wonderful Monday evening, the week of Veterans Day, Veterans Week, as I like to call it. I would encourage everybody, if you see a veteran, just shake his hand and say thank you, his or her hand, and say thank you. We've truly asked a lot out of our service members, and they've given up a lot, and we deserve to give them all the credit in the world. And so for that, tonight's show, we try to change it up every week, and we try to do something unique and different. And I think this is a really good change up. This is showing that thing that I like to call, or I like to give praise to, that selflessness and that dedication to duty. And tonight we're going to have Sara Combs on there, and she is a coach for the Kansas team for the National Veterans Wheelchair Games. And so I just want to quickly read their mission statement, and then I'm going to turn it over to her to talk. But the National Veterans Wheelchair Games is a co-presented between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Paralyzed Veterans of America. The games serve as veterans with spinal cord injuries, multiple sclerosis, amputations, and other neurological impairments, with a goal to increase their independence, health, activity, and the quality of life through the wheelchair sports and recreation. Veterans are being exposed to wheelchair sports as a part of rehabilitation to improve function, independence, and getting them active in their home communities. And I think that says a lot, because, that's one thing when somebody's going through a traumatic instance or a hard time in their life, they have to connect to something. And the way that, wounded veterans, and I think with anybody, you want to connect with people that can relate to you. And that's why when you put wounded veterans together, it's that camaraderie, that social interaction that they have, that they've missed so much from not being in the military. It just makes them get to a whole different comfort level, and they can open up and they can kind of start talking about their situations and their troubles and their hardships. And I think it's such a wonderful thing. And I'd like to introduce Sara. Sara, if you could introduce yourself. And I just want to start off by saying thank you for everything that you do and you have done and continue to do.
Well, thank you, Pat. My name's Sara Combs. I was a crew chief on the OH-58 Delta, a Kiowa Warrior. My first true deployment was the Gulf War. I was in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And I've been through a lot myself as a veteran, and saw an opportunity to help other veterans, and absolutely wanted to get involved with the National Wheelchair Games because of just the experience that I've had, the experience that I've seen others go through. It was a perfect fit, and here we are today. And so just a little bit about myself. I was stationed in Fort Hood, was attached to 3rd ACR out of Fort Bliss, and that's who I went to Desert Storm with. And then I did a couple tours in Germany, one stint in Korea, and then called it quits after I developed cancer from being in Desert Storm. So being around the uranium and the burning oil fields, which a lot of people, I'm sure, understand with the burn pits and just being around the oil field itself. So that's where some of my background as far as a veteran.
Yeah, and so I know that that's really cool that you're a crew chief on the Kiowas. That's what I flew, as you probably know.
Yep.
Such a great helicopter. But so with your developing cancer, how was your fight through that, and how did the military help you, or the VA, or whatever avenue? Was that a pretty good experience for you, or no?
Yeah, I struggled at the time. I came back from Desert Storm. A lot of things were new and different. One of the things I do have to say is we were welcomed back with open arms, which was new for everybody in the military. And with that being said, that opened the door for when I found out that I had cancer. I was actually stationed at Fort Hood, and Darnell Hospital is the one that is where I found out. But it was different because I struggled for 5 years due to the cancer, and because I wanted to make the military a career. So I did. I struggled. I came out of high school and joined the military right out of high school. So the military was all I knew. And I was still young and wanted kids and wanted a family and wanted a career. So once I found out that I had the cancer, the military at that time really didn't have the facility to treat me, so they actually sent me over to Scott and White there in Texas. So I did a lot of my treatments through Scott and White, and then once I got to the point where I just struggled more and more each day, it came to the point where I had to make a choice on, well, I really didn't make a choice. I had no choice, but I had to take a medical discharge from the military, obviously. But the thing there was the military took care of me. They paid for all my treatments. They paid for all the surgeries that I had. Anything that I needed, they were there for me. So I felt like whatever I put in, they gave me back at that point, because the struggle is real. You feel like you're all like you have nowhere to turn, and you don't know what you're going to do with your life at that point, because you're taking something that has always been yours, and the road that you thought you were going to travel is changed in an instant, and you feel alone. You feel like, where do I go from here? And you honestly, especially as a female, you don't know where to go, because sometimes you get the depression that comes with it. And being at my age, I was 26. I didn't have kids. I was married, and I ended up getting divorced because of the struggle. So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to say I could imagine, but that would be a lie, because I really couldn't imagine what you had to go through. And I want to touch on a couple of things. You said that you were coming back from a conflict and being welcomed was something new, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It was, but I want to make sure that people understand the reason that it was something new is because the gentlemen and the men and women that came back from Vietnam, they had such a piss poor reception coming back to this country. It was almost appalling that they had decided and they stood up and they weren't going to let that happen to us. And I think a big shout out needs to go to all the veterans that made that happen, made that transition happen. And so, and then also you say, you said the struggle is real. And, I'm glad you said that in that way, because the struggle is real, and it's real for every veteran, because, and some are hurt a lot worse than others in varying degrees. And, I say it all the time. The worst wounds and the most effective wounds are the ones you cannot see. And I'm sure you walking around, I'm sure people would not have known that you were sick. And that's the same thing with like PTSD and all that stuff. And it's such a, I think we have such a great infrastructure, I guess, if you will, now with all the different nonprofits and all the different activities that are formed for disabled veterans and people with disabilities. And I know that that has become a big part of your life. And I'm correct, and you have a twin sister, correct? That was also a veteran.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And she was kind of your
twin.
reason. Identical twin. And she was kind of your reason to get involved in doing what you're doing now, correct?
Correct. So she's a veteran as well. And she was a medic. And there was a incident where it caused her to lose her legs. And so she became an amputee. And I saw the struggles that she went through as well, emotionally, physically, spiritually, the struggles that I thought I went through. Once I saw the struggles she went through, doesn't even compare. I mean, we have our struggles every day, but the thing that really got me is the fact that after seeing what she had to go through and waking up the next morning after her legs were cut off, just me taking for granted that I could roll over and put my feet on the floor to get up, to go get a cup of coffee, and she would no longer be able to do that. It hits home knowing what these guys and girls and families go through. I wanted to be there not only for my sister, but to be there to let other veterans know, hey, I have gone through some of the struggles that you have, but it may not be the same exact struggle, but internally I wanted them to know that I'm there for them and I understand some of the pain and some of the turmoil, some of the depression, some of the nightmares that you go through. It's just so that they knew that somebody was there that understood and would be there for them no matter what.
Right. And so with your sister, is she above or below the knee amputee?
She's right above the knee.
Right above the knee. Wow. Yeah, and it's both of them? Her both legs are amputated?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, and so I'm sure, well, with both of you being veterans and both of you facing your own struggles, with health and stuff, I'm sure it wasn't easy, but I'm sure she leaned on you a lot, and I'm sure you were able to help each other. So I'm sure she's grateful that she has you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm.
No, it's okay. I mean,
okay.
If you need a second, I understand. I'm sure it's pretty emotional for you, and that's the thing. That's why all these stories are so touching, because they are all emotional, and the things that some people have to go through in life, other people just wouldn't understand, and that's why we want to do these podcasts to get them stories out there, because no matter what, everybody has to overcome some kind of adversity, and some more than others, and it's such a we have such a wide variety of people that we can connect to, and these stories inspire a lot of people. So.
Right. And I was saying yes, but so her leg is amputated on the left leg. But I was saying yes because I'm was agreeing with you. Yes, yes, yes. But she's only got the left leg amputated. And so
okay.
I want to make that clear. So.
Okay. Well, but, either way, one or two, they're both.
Right. So she also she's lost all of her intestines. She's lost both breasts because she ended up with cancer due to them not finding, because she not only had to have her leg amputated, but she actually had a brain injury. So that's what started everything.
Hey, Sarah, real quick, we want to continue this story, but we're going to take a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a minute. So stay tuned to hear the continuation of this story and what Sarah has been able to do to help herself and other people overcome their adversities.
So put your weapon next to mine. Put your weapon next to mine.
You're listening to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, right on down the line. Come on over. Come on over. What's not over?
My father was the best truck driver I've ever known in my life. Like a family tradition.
I'm a truck driver myself. I drove around the state with my cat.
To be the truck driver, you not just only see where you go, you see the world in the larger perspective.
This is a really good time to be in the trucking industry. The dispatchers get good loads for them. The equipment is very new, and then it's very reliable.
At GTS Transportation, we make dreams come true by employing truck drivers, dispatchers, mechanics, and many other occupations. Consider joining our rapidly expanding team where we put quality, human dignity, and respect back into the workforce. Contact us by visiting our website at gtscarrier.com or call us at 847-754-4667. That number again, 847-754-4667.
Dallas Corporation and Dallas Logistics, a proud supporter of the Veterans Radio broadcast for over 15 years. High-quality printing services and warehouse distribution have been our hallmark since 1985, serving Fortune 100 companies for over 35 years. Check us out at www.dallascorp.com.
VBN, Veterans Broadcast Network, brings you Wounded But Not Broken, hosted by Patrick Scroggin. It lies within you to conquer your greatest challenges. Patrick tackles the stories of how others faced unthinkable odds, and then at a pivotal moment, a change occurred within them that gave them the strength, attitude, and direction to excel beyond the greatest expectations. Listen every week and learn how it is possible to defeat the impossible.
Welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken. Here with Sara Combs, and she was telling her and her sister really inspiring story and tragic. And I know it's an emotional. I'm sure it's very emotional for you to talk about, Sarah. And I know it took me quite a while before I could get through my story without losing it. But I'm going to let you continue on with your sister. I think the last thing you said that she had cancer as well, and she lost her small intestine. You said.
She lost all of her intestines, actually. So the incident or the accident that she had actually broke her neck. And so when her vertebrae collapsed down on the spinal cord, it pinched different parts of the body. So not only did she lose her leg, but she lost her bladder, the cognizance of a lot of the things that we take for granted, She ended up losing her bladder, so she had to get the urine bag placed in, and then the bladder actually is what ended up with the cancer. And so they didn't find the cancer due to the fact that she never used her bladder. So by the time they found the cancer, it had already spread throughout her body. And so she ended up losing not only her leg, and her bladder, but her intestines. And as of right now, both breasts. The only thing she has left technically is her major organs. So she has, her lungs, her liver, stuff like that, but everything else is pretty much gone.
Right. Wow. Man, I don't know what to say to that. And so your sister played a big role into getting into doing what you're doing now, correct?
Correct. She struggled, like most people that have these kind of injuries. Emotionally, she didn't want to live anymore. She felt like there was nothing left for her after going through all this, and she's my old. I mean, we're only 13 minutes apart, but to me, she's my older sister, and she had always been there for me through my struggles. And I remember having the cancer and the surgeries and stuff that I had to go through. She was always there for me, so I wanted to return the favor and always be there for her. And hers was a little tougher than mine. And I saw her go from the big sister that I always knew, running around, playing and cutting up and joking, to I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be a burden on other people. I've struggled enough. I just want to give up, and I wanted to be there for her, to show her, hey, you were there for me. I'm here for you, and we'll walk this journey together. And it was hard, not only emotionally, but going from running around like a kid, to not only her being in the wheelchair, but just the function, the independence, the rehabilitation. As most people in her condition, that her activity went from being very independent to having to have a caregiver all the time. And those struggles aren't going to go away. They're going to be there every day for the rest of her life. And so I wanted her to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It may look dark and bleak at this point, but there is light somewhere, and we'll get there together. We'll find it together.
Wow. That's that's pretty powerful. So, does your sister live there with you now, or?
No, actually, we lived together for a long time, and now she was introduced to the games, to the National Veteran Wheelchair Games, and the first year that she attended the games was in Orlando, Florida, and at first she didn't want to participate. She didn't want to try it. She didn't want to. I mean, with most people in her situation, they just want to be left alone. Don't make me do this. Don't make me, And so you tell her, through sports, because I knew she was a sports person growing up. Through sports, this is something, let's see it. Let's try. I don't want to see you just sitting in your wheelchair, not doing anything every day. I saw her go from 140 pounds to 200 pounds because she just didn't want to do anything. And I knew that wasn't my sister. So getting her involved in the games was something I was willing to try. And at first it was a struggle to get her to participate because she didn't want to do it. She just wanted to sit there and live her life the way she wanted to live it. And so I got her involved in the games, and they happened to have a clinic in Indianapolis that allowed other veterans to come and see the different events. be a part of the events, just to try them out, to promote the rehabilitation through the competition of these events. So I was able to get her involved and meet. It was actually the Kentucky-Indianapolis team that had this clinic. And so just getting involved with that and taking her all the way to Indianapolis. The clinic was actually in Kentucky, so going all the way to Kentucky from Kansas, driving her there just to make her a part of it, allowing her to see the events and be a part of that, kind of opened the door to the wheelchair games. So that's how we got started in it.
Wow. And so with your sister, I was just kind of letting you go. I kind of want to backtrack just a second. So when you were going through all of this with your sister, and you had mentioned that she didn't want to live anymore, I mean, at one point, was she suicidal, do you think, or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
She tried to take her life a couple of times.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because that's such a big topic, and it's so powerful and important, and something that needs to be taken a lot more seriously, not only by our government, but by the people that, give these wounded veterans and disabled people cares, because, the veteran suicide rate is through the roof, and it doesn't seem like, anybody in the government wants to tackle it or try to do any better. I mean, I don't want to get political, but it's a very big issue that we have. And, I would really like to see a lot of pressure put on the VA and some of these, our government, frankly, to try to help out and do this and help tackle this problem, because, we ask people to do some extraordinary things, and, when they're done with them, it just seems like they wash their hands and don't care. And that's but it's people like you. I mean, not only was your sister, but I'm sure if she wasn't your sister, you'd still done the same thing. And that's the whole veterans giving back to veterans. And I don't know. I just kind of really wanted to bring that up, because suicide awareness is such a huge deal, and to have somebody there alongside you, helping you, that can identify the issues and tackle them and try to help fix them or help motivate you, get you back to reality, is such a great tool. And I commend you for doing that. And it just goes without saying. I mean, we need more people like you.
Thank you. The struggle, like I said earlier, the struggle is real mentally. And a lot of people, I still struggle today with some of the situations that I was in the Gulf War. I was left. I was out in the desert. Got separated from my battalion for over 12 hours. I was by myself. And to see that helicopter the next morning, I spent the whole entire night in the desert by myself. It still plays on you. And emotionally, a lot of people that have PTSD, a lot of people don't see the PTSD with service members. And that struggle, I don't even know that the VA has come to terms with it, as you said. And I use the VA. I still go through therapy. I'm going through CBT right now, trying to understand some of the stuff that I did. And you're right. The VA needs to step up more. Not just for people like me, but for people that have the amputations, the people that have spinal cord injuries, the people that have central neurological impairments, just anything that you can think of in that aspect of it on the mental side. I agree that the VA needs to step up and be there for the veterans.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad we kind of went back and went over that just a little bit, because I commend you for that. And we're going to take another word from our sponsors. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about the games. We'll be right back.
So put your weapon next to mine. So put your weapon next to mine.
You're listening to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, right on down the line. Come on over. Come on over. What's not over?
Attention, looking for semi-drivers nationwide. GTS Transportation of Burr Ridge, Illinois is looking to hire or partner with experienced CDL holders in every state. If you are going to drive, why not drive for the best? Whether you are driving solo, as a team, or as an owner-operator, GTS is looking to add you to their rapidly growing company. Become part of one of the most respected, driver-friendly, and successful transportation companies in America, where drivers are treated as royalty. Contact us at gtscarrier.com. Again, gtscarrier.com. Or call us at 847-754-4667. That number again, 847-754-4667. We would love to help you, which in turn helps everyone. GTS is an equal opportunity employer.
Dallas Corporation and Dallas Logistics, a proud supporter of the Veterans Radio broadcast for over 15 years. High-quality printing services and warehouse distribution have been our hallmark since 1985, serving Fortune 100 companies for over 35 years. Check us out at www.dallascorp.com.
VBN, Veterans Broadcast Network, brings you Wounded But Not Broken, hosted by Patrick Scroggin. It lies within you to conquer your greatest challenges. Patrick tackles the stories of how others faced unthinkable odds, and then at a pivotal moment, a change occurred within them that gave them the strength, attitude, and direction to excel beyond the greatest expectations. Listen every week and learn how it is possible to defeat the impossible.
Welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken. Here with Sara, and we're talking about her and her sister in the wheelchair games. And so far it's just such an inspiring, touching story to me. And at that last segment, I kind of got off track there. That was my fault. I thought it was a great opportunity to talk about suicide awareness, and I just don't think enough light gets shined on that. And unfortunately, more get through the cracks than we catch, and the veteran suicide rate is through the roof. And we as Americans really all need to step up to the plate and try to combat that and do the best we can, and try to make that number go way down. But Sara, I'd like to let you go on about the wheelchair games, and I know you were talking about you took your sister to a clinic, and that's kind of what got her started with it. So just take it from there.
Correct. So the first games we participated in were the games. The games travel every year to a different city, and the first year that we went, we were in Orlando, Florida, and it was a learning experience, but opportunity just to see and travel, to see all the other veterans that were. It's almost like a big support group, because you don't realize how many other veterans are out there going through the same thing that you're going through until you see all of them show up in an event like this. So it was Orlando, Florida, and I can't even start to tell you the overwhelming feeling as you walk just through the hotel to register and to see everybody, to see It's almost like being back in the military, and that camaraderie within each veteran. I mean, they open their arms to you immediately. It's, hey, how are you doing? This must be your first year because we can tell, and it's just the experience is, there's no other feeling. There's no other feeling, especially when you walk down, just like opening ceremonies for the Olympics. It's the same, you feel the same pride, the same connection. It's just, I've seen over the years, that may have been my first game, but it certainly was not my last. And over the years, I've just seen the benefits of the relationships that these veterans make with each other, the strength and the opportunities that each one reaches out to help the other person. Maybe they're struggling in one area that maybe I can't help with, but the next person can. And that's the point of the games. That is the point of the community that connects everybody together.
Right. So it's much like a big extended family. I mean, veterans are unique individuals because veterans can relate to veterans, especially the ones that have been deployed and have been through some adversity in their lives. They just have this common bond where they just connect immediately, and you meet somebody on a an experience like that. It's instant connection and it's instant family because it's all about giving back. And I've never seen in my life people more willing to give back than veterans. I just haven't.
Absolutely. I mean, they draw strength from each other. As you know, being in the military yourself, you may be at your lowest point, and to see that brother or that sister with you going through the same thing, it just, the connection and the strength that you gain from each other is by far something that if you haven't been in the military and felt that connection, it's something that you absolutely cannot understand.
Right, unless you've lived it. And
correct.
All the veterans that I know, all the ones that are in my inner circle are so damn competitive that you put them together. It doesn't matter if it's tic-tac-toe. You're wanting to win, and I'm sure it's much like that at the games that you're talking about. Everybody, we as humans have this natural competitive deal. I mean, we all want to, we want to win. We want to share that experience, that enjoyment. And I'm sure I haven't been to one of these games. I would like to attend to watch and just experience it. But I'm sure it's a lot like that, to where that natural competitiveness comes out. But at the end of the day, you all are high fiving because you're brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. So that's how I got involved. When we were there in Florida, of course, living in Kansas, and I took my sister to compete with the Kentucky-Indiana team that year. When they called for Kansas, there was not one veteran that walked that line. Not one. And I was like, no way. Here I am living in Kansas, in Leavenworth. We've got Fort Leavenworth right here. We got Fort Riley. We've got all the VAs, the Kansas City VA. We've got the Leavenworth VA. We got Topeka. We got Wichita. And there's not one veteran that's walking for the state of Kansas. And that's what changed me at that point. That's when I said, you know what? There's a lot of veterans just in my own area that would love to be where I am right now. And so that's how I got started. And I mean, the games are open to all U.S. veteran service members who uses a wheelchair. And even if you don't use a wheelchair 100% of the time, if you're able to, at any point in your life that you are, again, as you said in your opening statement, spinal cord injury, MS, amputation, central neurological impairments. Anybody that falls into that category can participate in these games. And we've got to get the word out to not only let the veterans know we're here, but have them participate. A lot of times, that's what they need. Like you said before, veterans are very competitive. And it is the National Veterans Wheelchair Games is one of the largest annual rehabilitation wheelchair sport event solely designated just for the military. For those military veterans that need the camaraderie. I mean, every veteran that I've met look forward to meeting each other again and again and again, year after year after year, competing and just having the camaraderie. And I can tell you, this year we had the games in New York City. I had one player on my team that competed with the same two guys every year that I've been part of this. And he just competed, and he wanted to beat one of the individuals, and every year the other individual would beat him out just by a hair. But the competition between the two became a bond of friendship that they competed against each other and competed, and it became almost like something that everybody looked forward to, because everybody knew about these two guys competing to beat each other. And this year, he actually beat the guy for the first time ever since he started playing in the wheelchair games. He actually beat him, and not knowing. Go ahead.
I bet he was super excited, and I couldn't imagine. I bet he was just ecstatic with.
Everybody was. Everybody. And because of the camaraderie, and everybody knowing about the competitiveness between the two, when he finally won, it was like everybody was congratulating both of them, but congratulating this guy that was just, overjoyed for him, for the competition and everything, that without even knowing that something was going on with him, when we returned home, just a few weeks after returning from New York City, he passed away. And
oh man!
But to know that, that was his last wheelchair games. This July was his last wheelchair games. But the competition, that's what we do these games for. This guy, for years lived to not only have this friendship, this connection, the strength that the games gave him. He did so much more when he came back than just playing the game. It helped him through life as well.
Right. So, and then at what point did you start the wheelchair games in Kansas?
So the following year is when I started the Kansas team. And I just saw that the fact that, the veterans with disabilities weren't always being pushed to their limits, to get involved with the games. So what I did is I introduced the games, let some of the veterans know, hey, there's 22 different sports in the games. There's basketball, softball, hand cycling, 9-ball, slalom, swimming, track and field, trap shooting, bocce, air rifle, you name it. And one of the biggest parts of the sport, soccer, power soccer, and rugby. And just to watch these guys go do the things that they do, it's just to gain the skills, to play these games and to watch these guys. I had one player the first year, one. But that one player, I dedicated everything I could to that one player. And next year, we went to Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
And so that's how it started, just with one player and then going from there.
Oh, that's super powerful. Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back, and we'll continue to I'd like to get to the challenges that you're facing and everything with everything that you're going through with the wheelchair games. We'll be right back. A word from our sponsors.
So put your weapon next to mine. Put your weapon next to mine.
You're listening to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, right on down the line. Come on over. Come on over. What's that up?
My father was the best truck driver I've ever known in my life. Like a family tradition.
I'm a truck driver myself. I drove around the state with my cat.
To be the truck driver, you not just only see where you go, you see the world in the larger perspective.
This is a really good time to be in the trucking industry. The dispatchers get good loads for them. The equipment is very new, and then it's very reliable.
At GTS Transportation, we make dreams come true by employing truck drivers, dispatchers, mechanics, and many other occupations. Consider joining our rapidly expanding team where we put quality, human dignity, and respect back into the workforce. Contact us by visiting our website at gtscarrier.com or call us at 847-754-4667. That number again, 847-754-4667.
Dallas Corporation and Dallas Logistics, a proud supporter of the Veterans Radio broadcast for over 15 years. High-quality printing services and warehouse distribution have been our hallmark since 1985, serving Fortune 100 companies for over 35 years. Check us out at www.dallascorp.com.
VBN, Veterans Broadcast Network, brings you Wounded But Not Broken, hosted by Patrick Scroggin. It lies within you to conquer your greatest challenges. Patrick tackles the stories of how others faced unthinkable odds, and then at a pivotal moment, a change occurred within them that gave them the strength, attitude, and direction to excel beyond the greatest expectations. Listen every week and learn how it is possible to defeat the impossible.
Welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggin.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wounded But Not Broken. We're here talking about the National Wheelchair Games for Veterans, and we're here with Sara. And Sara, I know that you went over why you started it and how. And so, how many have you had the Kansas team in? How many games have you had the Kansas team in since you started?
This will be my fifth year as the coach for the Kansas team. To this point, I've managed to help the veterans on my own. Like I said earlier, I'm a disabled veteran myself. And I mean, honestly, after 5 years, I just recently adopted three kids, a sibling group of three, to keep them together. I have an 8-year-old girl and twin 3-year-old boys. And so on my disability pay, I'm not able to keep up anymore. And after 5 years, I'm struggling a lot more than I have in years past, not only because of my adoption, but because of the COVID pandemic and everything. It just keeps getting tougher and tougher each year. But that's where, people like you, Pat, and your radio helps us out a lot, because what we need truly is the love and support to all veterans, their caregivers, their families. Sometimes we forget the struggles that they face daily, and we may only, see part of their struggle, but as we talked about before, it's there every day for them. So, sorry. It's just, you don't want to give up on them. And sometimes when you start to struggle yourself, trying to just get that one veteran the opportunity to overcome their disabilities just for that week, to see, the smile on their faces, to see the laughter, the enjoyment, the strength that they didn't know they had, that they had lost somewhere along the way. To see that just out of one person is enough to keep you going. To do whatever it is you have to do to let them have that one moment, let them have that one opportunity to see that, you know what, they deserve that. They deserve, after everything that they've been through and everything that they've given for this country, for the state that they live in, for the people around them, for this country, to let them have that one opportunity to feel, that the excitement when they put that gold or silver medal or bronze medal around their neck, it makes a difference to them.
Right. I mean, I can only imagine. No, it's completely understandable, and I know it's emotional for you, and it's emotional for a lot of people. A lot of these stories are, and it sounds like you paid a hefty price, and you're definitely entitled to it. So I can imagine, like, with being a coach of these and trying to support it yourself. I mean, I'm sure it requires a lot of equipment, correct?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
What kind of equipment? And I'm sure nothing nothing that has to do with medical stuff is cheap. So, what kind of equipment?
No. And we're looking at, racing chairs, hand cycles, rugby chairs, all the way from just bocce sets, for these guys to play with, bike helmets, gloves, uniforms, gas cards for these guys to get back and forth. And not only for them, for their caregivers. People don't realize how much the caregivers give up as well, but it's, just for track and field, you're looking at hand cycles and racing chairs, javelins, shot puts, disc. So, I mean, there's a lot of equipment, some small, some big, some more inexpensive than others. But, I mean, any chair that you're looking at, basketball chairs, soccer chairs, they're very expensive. Even if you try to get used ones, very expensive chairs.
Have you reached out to the VA to see if they would do anything to help raise money for it, or?
Yes. You don't always get the help that you want sometimes from the VA.
Well aware.
So even though, yes, I have reached out, and just to be honest, sometimes you get the runaround, as most veterans know. They tell you to go to prosthetics. Prosthetics tell you have to go to your primary. Your primary says, I can't do it. You've got to go through rehabilitation. Rehab tells you, and unfortunately, the only one that loses in that whole circle is the veteran itself, the veteran themselves.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anybody listening that could, put the right word in the VA, this is something the VA should get behind. This is something VA should sponsor programs like this, and they should help you out. And I know it's a tremendous cost for you. And so that being said, what can our listeners do to help? Anybody that may be willing to help, what could they do? How could they get involved? How could they help? With anything.
Oh yeah, donations, sponsorships, and most importantly, anyone that, and this is not just for the state of Kansas, but anyone that is in maybe that is on your radio that is from another state or that can hear nationally. Just donate your time. Donate your time for coaching, for helping organize, set up fundraisers. We need just as much help doing that as we do anything. Helping set up these clinics so that the other veterans can see what's going on. It's my goal to be able to provide not only the veterans with travel, hotel, and food, but their caregivers as well, to be able to give them 1 week a year where they don't have to worry about anything except for participating in the games. That would be a dream come true for me. So what we still need is just, anyone that sees a wheelchair, if you can get your hands on that wheelchair and donate it. We can fix the wheelchair if we have the frame, or if we need to get new seats or new wheels or whatever. Anything along that line helps these veterans that some of them have no money at all. Some of them are just living on their disability, and by the time they pay rent and food and all that, there's nothing left. So
right.
anything helps,
Sarah, how would they get in?
How
would they get in contact with you, or how would they donate, or do you have a number, or email, or a site set up, or something?
They can go to it's set up Eastern Kansas VA Stallions, and that's our website on Facebook. I'm in the process right now. I just switched over to Midwest Adaptive Sports. A lot of people are aware of that. And so I don't have my new email on there yet, but you can email me through sarah.combs23@gmail.com. But I will be putting my new Midwest Adaptive Sport email on there probably tomorrow or the following day, and you can donate directly to Midwest Adaptive Sports and just put Kansas National Wheelchair Games. If you want to go through the Midwest Adaptive Sports, you can look up their email or their website and donate through there. But I will have something on the veterans on the Kansas website, and I spoke to Midwest Adaptive Sports just this afternoon, and they're going to try to set that up for me.
Okay, cool. And so you said on Facebook it's was it Eastern Canyon Stallions? That's what you said?
Eastern Kansas.
Oh, Eastern Kansas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eastern VA Kansas Stallions, and you should just be able to pull that up, and you'll see different stuff on there where you can follow us. Even if you can't donate, if you just want to follow us, all the support that we can get, the love and support that we can get that way actually helps as well. Just to follow us.
Okay. All right, Sarah. Well, we're out of time for tonight, but I really appreciate you coming on and telling us your story, and I hope the listeners out there were as touched as I am, and I hope we can get some help so you can continue to do this and not be such a stressor on your life to where you can actually enjoy it and you're not worrying to have to pay for it. So hopefully we can raise some money for you or help you get some, and And again, I really thank you for coming on. And I just want to go over it again. It's Sara Combs. That's SARA.Combs, COMBS @gmail.com. Correct?
Yeah, Sara, SARA.Combs, COMBS 23 @gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully we're going to get some awareness, and I'll keep in touch with you. And again, if I can ever do anything and I'm in the area, just let me know. And thanks again. Thanks so much for tonight, and I really appreciate it. And I hope you are able to continue doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for having me on here.
All right. Thank you. And
right.
Thank the listeners for listening tonight. And God bless America, and God bless our troops. Have a good night.
Yeah.
You're listening to Wounded But Not Broken with host Patrick Scroggins.
Attention, looking for semi-drivers nationwide. GTS Transportation of Burr Ridge, Illinois is looking to hire or partner with experienced CDL holders in every state. If you are going to drive, why not drive for the best? Whether you are driving solo, as a team, or as an owner-operator, GTS is looking to add you to their rapidly growing company. Become part of one of the most respected, driver-friendly, and successful transportation companies in America, where drivers are treated as royalty. Contact us at gtscarrier.com. Again, gtscarrier.com. Or call us at 847-754-4667. That number again, 847-754-4667. We would love to help you, which in turn helps everyone. GTS is an equal opportunity employer.
Dallas Corporation and Dallas Logistics, a proud supporter of the Veterans Radio broadcast for over 15 years. High-quality printing services and warehouse distribution have been our hallmark since 1985. Serving Fortune 100 companies for over 35 years. Check us out at www.dallascorp.com.
VBN, Veterans Broadcast Network, brings you Wounded But Not Broken, hosted by Patrick Scroggins. It lies within you to conquer your greatest challenges. Patrick tackles the stories of how others faced unthinkable odds, and then at a pivotal moment, a change occurred within them that gave them the strength, attitude, and direction to excel beyond the greatest expectations. Listen every week and learn how it is possible to defeat the impossible.